Episode 27, Seeds of Independence, Part 1. The morning sun spilled over the town in soft golden rays, illuminating rooftops and narrow cobblestone streets. Amina woke, and a flutter of anticipation came into her chest. Today felt different, a sense of momentum, of progress, as though their careful, deliberate efforts were beginning to ripple outward into tangible opportunities. Marko was already up, reviewing his notebook filled with plans, sketches, and repair orders. "Morning," he said, glancing up with a smile, ready to make another step forward. Amina returned the smile, brushing back a loose strand of hair. "Yes, I feel like we are finally planting seeds that can grow, not just surviving day by day." They shared their modest breakfast of tea and bread, savoring the quiet intimacy of their routine. Every shared meal, every small conversation was part of the scaffolding they were building around their future. Each act reinforced the life they were slowly shaping together. After breakfast, they set out towards the community center, a place that had become a hub of opportunity for both of them. Marko had a more advanced electrical assignment today, wiring a small office for a local business. The project was complex, requiring precise attention and problem-solving skills he had honed over the past months. Amina, meanwhile, attended a practical session focused on managing client expectations and small business operations. Today's exercise challenged her to respond to unexpected situations, mistimed deliveries, demanding customers, and minor conflicts between staff members. She approached each scenario methodically, drawing on lessons learned in the cafe and in her coursework. During a short break, they reunited in the courtyard. Sunlight danced across the stone paths, and the laughter of children playing nearby reminded them of the small joys they had long been denied. "I never imagined we'd reach a point where this feels possible," Amina said softly. "A life where we are not just reacting to circumstances, but creating them." Marko nodded his head with a quiet pride in his eyes. "It's not easy, but that's what independence looks like. Every repair, every lesson, every plan, it's a brick in the life we are building." After classes, they spent the afternoon running errands, securing small materials for future projects, and preparing for their gradual expansion, saving money, organizing tools, and documenting plans in notebooks that had become their map to independence. Each action was deliberate, each choice intentional, and every step strengthened the foundation of their future. By evening, they returned to their modest room. The light of the setting sun cast warm shadows across the walls, and the small space felt home in a way it never had before. They cooked a simple dinner together, discussing the plans, discussing the lessons of the day, and the planning for the coming week. New repair projects for Marko, additional exercises for Amina, and careful budgeting to allow for incremental savings. Amina paused, looking at Marko with a soft smile. It's strange to feel like we are actually building a life that's ours. That the future is something we can shape with our own hands. Marko squeezed her hand gently. It is fragile, yes, but ours. And every day we nurture it grows stronger. As night settled over the town, they lay together, exhausted but satisfied. Each challenge they faced, each lesson they learned, and every small victory was a step toward independence. Fear and uncertainty remained, but hope had become tangible, a horizon that was steadily coming within reach. And in that quiet certainty, they allowed themselves to dream a life of stability, freedom, and the enduring strength of their partnership. Part 2. The afternoon unfolded with quiet intensity. Amina and Marko moved through the town with purpose, each task carefully considered, each interaction deliberate. The marketplace buzzed around them, merchants calling out prices, children darting between stalls, and the aroma of fresh bread filling the air. For outsiders, it was an ordinary day, but for them, every step was a strategic move toward independence. Marko carried his toolkit to a nearby house, where a local artisan had requested assistance with rewiring a small workshop. The project was challenging, requiring patience and precision. Each connection he fixed, each solution he found, strengthened not just his skills, but also his reputation in the town. The small gestures of trust from clients, an approving nod, a grateful smile, felt like quiet victories. Meanwhile, Amina attended her business and customer service session. Today's focus was on problem solving under pressure, handling complaints, managing limited resources, and negotiating solutions when unexpected obstacles arose. Amina felt a flick of nervousness as she simulated a particularly demanding client scenario, but she remembered lessons from her cafe work and Marko's careful planning. She responded with calm confidence, earning nods and smiles from the instructor and classmates alike. During a short break, they reunited in the courtyard. The sunlight filtered through the branches of nearby trees, and the laughter of the children playing in the square seemed almost symbolic, a representation of the life they were slowly claiming for themselves. I can see it now, Amina said softly, leaning against Marko. Every small step, every lesson, it's all starting to feel like it's actually building something that can last. Marko nodded. Exactly. Independence isn't one big leap. It's bricks, step by step. And we are learning how to put the sunset casting long, warm shadows across the walls. They cooked a simple dinner together. Their conversation was a mix of reflections and future planning. We are building more than just skills, Amina said as she stirred the pot. We are building confidence, trust, and the ability to handle whatever comes next. Marco smiled, taking her hand. Yes, and every day we do it together. The foundation grows stronger. Fragile now, maybe, but real and ours. As the town quieted for the night, they sat by the window, watching the faint glow of street lamps on cobblestone streets. Exhausted, yet fulfilled, they allowed themselves to reflect on the growth they have achieved, the skills, the small victories, the careful planning, and the shared partnership that made it all possible. That night, as they lay down to sleep, Amina whispered, step by step, break by break, we are finally claiming our independence. Marco held her close, and together we'll keep building it stronger every day. Part 3. Night is drift. It's quiet over the town, and the streets were mostly empty, save for the distant chatter of a few late wanderers inside their small room. Amina and Marco sat together, the soft glow of a lantern casting long shadows across the walls. The day's efforts, small victories, and lessons absorbed hung in the air like a gentle hum of possibility. Amina leaned against Marco, her head resting on his shoulder. Do you realize what we've been doing? She asked softly. It's not just surviving anymore. We're actually creating something of our own. Marco smiled, brushed her hair back gently. I do. What I do every day, every choice, every little effort, it all adds up. We are building a life we can call ours. Fragile, yes, but it's real, and it's growing stronger with every passing day. She closed her eyes, taking comfort in his words. I can feel it. The past is still there, lingering like a shadow, but it doesn't define us anymore. Not when we have this momentum, this plan, this partnership. He nodded, holding her hand firmly. Exactly. Independence isn't a single moment. It's the accumulation of every choice, every lesson, every effort we make together. And that's exactly what we are doing. They shared a quiet meal of bread and tea, savoring not just the food, but the symbolism of creating sustenance and stability from their own efforts. Each action was deliberate, reinforcing the life they were building. Afterwards, they sat by the window, gazing out at the quiet town. The moonlight glinted off rooftops, and the occasional lamplight reflected in puddles from a recent rain. Outside, life continued its ordinary rhythm, unaware of the careful construction happening inside their small room. Amina pulled her notebook towards her, reviewing plans for the coming week. scheduling Marco's repairs, tracking finances, and even scouting for a slightly larger space they might rent in the future. Marco added notes of his own, sketching improvements for his repair projects and identifying ways to attract more clients. I never thought we'd be able to plan like this, Amina whispered. With so many unknowns before, I feel like life was just a series of emergencies. But now we are building step by step with purpose. Marco kissed her forehead gently. That's what independence looks like. Fragile at first, yes, but growing stronger every day. And as long as we nurture it together, nothing can take it from us. As they finally lay down to sleep, exhaustion mixed with quiet satisfaction. Each day had been deliberate, each choice intentional, and each small victory a break in the foundation of their life. Fear and uncertainty still lingered, but hope had become tangible, a horizon they could reach slowly but surely together. And in the quiet certainty of shared efforts, love and resilience, Amina and Marco allowed themselves to dream a life of stability